Hello.
Hello, mate.
I don't think that wouldn't have got on, but you were just doing a really weird little thing.
Yeah, I always get very nervous.
Anyway, let's try. We always seem to forget that we've got a guest with us.
Yes, I'd never forget.
No, you don't. So, who have we got with us today?
I don't know. Who is it?
Let's ask him.
So we ask him.
Ross.
Hello, mate.
Who are
Hello.
you? Why are you here?
Who am I today? Well, I'm a million different people from one day to the next.
Good song.
My name's Ross Jackson-Hicks.
Fantastic. And
where are you from?
I'm originally from Plymouth.
Plymouth
Land. I've been living in Cornwall for 22 years.
Wow. So are you a local now?
I wouldn't say I'm a local. No, I wouldn't be allowed to call myself a local. I don't think. But my wife's Cornish, and my two boys were born in Cornwall, so I suppose they're Cornish.
Well, that's interesting.
It's a long
weren't
bloodline
born in
of
Derriford?
Cornish. No. I was actually born in Heavy Tree Hospital in Exeter, so I'm a bit of a slut.
That's the sort of guest we like.
Yeah, bring out your sluts. Yeah. Love it.
So I can see on your T-shirt there. Show us the front of your T-shirt.
Oh no, sorry, you meant the logo.
There we go. Yeah, not the dinner.
No.
There we go.
Man Down.
He's the originator of Man Down. Hence why we've got you on today. Obviously, I know I don't think I've ever met you, but I've met your wife a few times.
All right.
Yeah, secretly.
Oh
no.
I think I've met you at a private dinner party at Danielle's house on Tregoles.
Oh no, we did. That was we
very
did
briefly.
That once. Yeah. Wasn't it like a? Yeah, no,
like a summer party or something. You did me like a really nice tuna steak. I remember that. It was very nice.
Oh, I thought you were going to say tuna sandwich. Then. I thought, that'll be him.
Tuna mayo jacket.
Anyone for tuna sandwiches?
Charging $4,000 for a tuna sandwich.
And a prawn ring. Yeah, no, definitely.
So I met you, once, and your wife a few times at a private catering gig.
That's right.
Man Down Cornwall's has always been. I think I messaged you about if you ever needed if you never needed a hand, like quite a few years back, sort of just. And you said, "Oh, we aren't imbued yet, but you are now imbued."
We're imbued. Yeah, we're all over. We're all over the place.
So why don't you start from the beginning of what the hell this is all about? Man Down's all about.
Okay, so Man Down is a men's mental health support group. We were originally based in Cornwall, but we decided in February that we were going to take our meeting framework that we created and go over the bridge and go into Devon and further afield. So now we've got 6 meetings in Devon, and we've got 25 in Cornwall. We've got 1 in Wiltshire, 1 in London, and 1 in Inverness.
Yeah,
so we're gonna just sort of meet in Middle Earth, which is around about
Birmingham.
sort of Birmingham way, really. Yeah. So that's what our plans are. But Man Down is a men's mental health support group, and what we do is we offer men a safe, non-judgmental, and confidential space to come and talk about their mental health issues and concerns, because men on a whole tend to find it difficult to talk about their emotions and their feelings. So I mean, there's a lot of shame and stigma attached to men's mental health, and 75% of all suicides are male, and the statistics are horrific enough on their own. 82 men a week in the UK kill themselves, so that's 12 men a day on average, which is just
It's horrendous.
It is horrendous. Yeah.
Shocking, isn't it? Really
Excuse me.
Really.
So I mean, I know where you hold your Bude group up the road. I mean, are you seeing more and more people take part now? As I do feel like there's definitely a really nice positive movement to kind of give men a voice, and a place to speak and to other men without feeling like they're, you know, no longer a man, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, are you seeing more of an uptake? I imagine numbers were quite small when you first started, but
they weren't actually. No, I mean, our first meeting in Penryn, we had
Penryn.
eight guys turn up. That
Wow.
was in 2019. No, sorry, 2018. We're 6 years this year. And then it just snowballed. I think we hit the sort of, the organisation came on the scene right at the sort of top of the wave of the whole sort of mental health movement. Like you rightly said, there's been a massive cultural shift within society, especially amongst men, to talk and to feel safe and show a little bit of vulnerability, because it's always been there, isn't it, within society, a generational thing, cultural thing,
Yeah.
to sort of, you know, we're men, we don't show weakness, we don't show that we cry, and you know, all that sort of toxic sort of masculinity
Yeah.
bullshit that prevents men from talking, you know.
So why Man Down Cornwall? Or Man Down now? Sorry. Why did you start it? What was the?
So it was myself and another chap called Brad, who's no longer within the organisation now, because unfortunately his wife passed away last year with cancer, unfortunately. So he's now retired. I mean, he was at retirement age anyway, and I used to cut his wife's hair because I'm a hairdresser by trade. So I've got a salon in Falmouth.
Oh, have you?
So I
Who cuts
was
your
cutting
hair?
his wife's.
You need to get a
Who
flipping.
cuts me?
I can fucking see that.
Julius Caesar.
Genius.
I didn't realise you were a hairdresser. Oh,
Yeah.
shit, okay.
I was cutting Judy's hair, and she put me in contact with obviously her husband, because I was talking about doing a charity, and we wanted to create a space for men to come and talk, and so he was brought in to sort of basically turn my ideas and vision into reality, because
Oh,
he'd
right.
been involved with charities and stuff before in the past. I'm fantastic at starting things, but I'm really, really terrible at finishing them off and continuing, because I just get a bit bored because I've got ADHD. So that was one, you know, that was how Man Down was created, and the reason why was because I've always struggled with my mental health ever since I was a teenager. You know, like I just jokingly said about ADHD, I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 13. I was your typical sort of ADHD kid, I suppose. Expelled from, you know, two schools. I was in a behavioural school when I was 15. And then I started abusing alcohol and drugs when I was around about 15, same sort of age. And, you know, life was really difficult to navigate through, because I was, you know, I was abusing alcohol and drugs to mask all my mental health and trauma and emotions, and, you know, like what we us men do, you know, we sort of, that's what a lot of people do, not just men, women as well, but men in particularly, when they're feeling you know, depressed or anxious, or they're struggling with their mental health, or they're stressed, you know, it's very easy to start turning to alcohol, because it's so socially acceptable, and it's, you know, that no one sort of judges you for drinking, do they?
It's funny though, isn't it? Like, I mean, you've just done it there, and I still come up against this quite a lot, actually. We still can't quite, go balls to the wall with it, can we? Like you just said, you know, men and women obviously as well. You know, there's that. We still do it, you know, like, and
Feel like you've got to.
I've had this thing, you know, with a couple of women that I've been speaking to, and it's almost like they'll be like, oh well, we get that as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I liken it a bit to, you know, when you get kind of like, you know, you'll get Black Lives Matter parades and things like that. That's what it's called, isn't it? What is it called? Yeah, Black Lives Matter. And people go, well, white lives matter too. You know, we're not saying that one's different than the other. You know, it's just that, you know, men we do not get enough support. We do not get enough recognition to, with the fact that what we're going through, because inherently we just keep it bottled up all inside, and until we explode or we deal with it in other ways. I very similar to yourself. I would say I've got a drink problem. I've just done 25 odd days without it, just to kind of keep myself in check. So, but
That's good.
It is good, and it kind of helps me to think that, have I got a drink problem? I don't mind saying that I do definitely use drink to dull the pain, right? I know that, but do I rely on it? Probably not as much as I might have thought I did.
If you can go like 25 days, and you're coming off your medication as well.
Yeah.
But you go fucking balls out, don't you? You're either in or out.
But that's I'm sure, Ross, you probably something similar. I think for me, excuse me, I think it's punishment. My things that I do, because I'm very, I don't know actually if it's an ADHD trait actually, where you kind of go, it's either 100% or 0%. There's no like kind of 50%, and I'm very much the same. Like, I'm very much like, right, I'm gonna fucking cut everything bad out of my life, and then beat myself up when I fail because I'm trying to lose weight, get exercise, stop smoking, stop drinking, and then it's like,
because I would say to you, why are you trying to cut out everything right now? Why don't you just do a little bit?
Yeah.
Be like, no,
it's a form of self-destruction. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And like you rightly said, then you're sort of punishing yourself because deep down that you're not going to be able to do all of those things that you're planning on doing, because it's hard work. It's not impossible, but it's very, very, very difficult to give up everything all at once. So you've got no voice, you've got nothing to sort of turn to when you are feeling a little bit vulnerable or a bit low. And for me, alcohol was causing such a massive lot of destruction within my life. It had to go. And I'll be sober at 8 years in January, so I haven't touched a drop of alcohol for 8 years.
That's amazing.
Well done,
And it's hard work. It's really, really hard work, and I'd be a liar if I didn't say that I think about drinking like most days because I do, but I choose not to because I know what it does to me and what it does to my family and what it does to my mental health. And I was I started getting quite violent when I was drinking. Because there was a lot of stuff going on inside me. I was just suppressing everything. I was like, yeah, everything's good. I'm Ross. I'm fun of the soul of the party, and just ignored everything. And then it all just bubbles up inside, and it's like a volcano. And it happened to me when I was 36. It can happen to people when they're 50. It can happen to people when they're 65. It can happen to people when they're 20 years old. It will come out eventually, because it's like a pressure cooker. And I went out one evening. I was drunk. I got into some trouble. I got arrested. I got charged with GBH and ABH. I was looking at a prison sentence. Very, very fortunately, I got a suspended sentence, but I still, as a result of that incident, lost my business, lost my house, was declared bankrupt. So I was suicidal. I was thinking about taking my own life each day, for a long time, because I just thought that I'd failed as a man, as a human being, as a husband. So it was looking. I was at the lowest of the low, and I still chose to carry on drinking for about 6 months after that. So
to jump in. Would you? So you that was when you were 36. That was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
That period. So roughly. Okay.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Fair play for you for being so open about it, mate. Seriously, I didn't expect you to say that at all.
It's the truth, and on where I am today is a complete and utter it's a completely different space, completely different headspace. I'm a completely different person. So, but it's a weird one because I don't regret much, because all of those things happened for a reason. I feel, and now I'm able to support people that are going through a similar thing to what I was.
So, Ross,
Um,
take yourself back 8 years. I
yeah.
appreciate it's not a great space to be, but what help was there for you? What help did you get? What you know? And it's obviously a
Um,
loaded question.
yeah. I mean, I didn't really get a lot of help because I didn't really want any.
No,
Because
okay,
I was doing the bloke thing. I was like, I'm all right. I'll do this on my own. And I did go to the doctors and said, I didn't explain fully what was going on and what was happening because I was scared and I felt a little bit embarrassed. And again, that's what a lot of men do, because they don't really know how to articulate it. They don't know how to explain how they're feeling, and that's where I was. So I was still in a lot of denial. And I wasn't physically dependent on alcohol, but I was mentally dependent on it. So
yeah,
I was sort of like a grey area drinker. So I drank probably 3, 4 times a week. But then when I would drink and I would drink from, say, 6 o'clock in the evening till 6 o'clock at night. And then also drugs and, just to basically keep me drinking, basically. So, that in itself was A, very expensive,
yeah,
B, very destructive to my physical health and my mental health, and C, very destructive to everyone, in and around me. But I was with a circle of friends that were doing the same thing. So it was just, it was just what
yeah,
we did. It was just what happened. And then when I went to the doctors and said, look, this is how I'm feeling, I was put on a waiting list to see an organisation called Outreach, which sorry, Outlook, was it Outlook or Outreach? I can't remember.
Outreach.
I think it's
But it
outreach.
was
Yeah,
yeah, it was like a sort of CBT, like cognitive behavioural therapy. So
yeah,
that sort of uh, professional help looks after like anxiety and intrusive thoughts and and stuff like that. So, but I didn't engage with the therapist, because I just felt that they were just sat there reading from a textbook.
yeah,
She was a young girl. She didn't really have a lot of life experience, and
You said that
she
last
just didn't get
podcast.
it.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
unless you've been there,
Yeah.
I'm sticking myself on the line for saying this, but unless you've been there, whether you're a trained therapist, psychotherapist, psychologist, you can do all the courses and all the degrees and masters and diplomas you want, but unless you've been there and you've really really experienced that level of suffering, like, because we're all in pain, like,
yeah.
not all of us, but most of us are in pain,
I would probably say
to
everyone
one
is in
extent.
some form. Yeah,
Yeah,
in some form.
but it's
If
when you
people
let
say
that
they're not,
pain. Yeah, they are. Yeah, and I think when you let that pain turn into suffering, like I was, and like a lot of other
yeah,
people do, that's the suffering is the destructive part. And unless you've been there, you can't really understand how that
Yeah.
feels.
Ross, I
You
said the
can't.
same thing. I said literally probably about what I don't know how many bloody episodes ago, but same thing as you. There's this kind of really frustrating process that you have to go through. You go to your doctor, like you say, they put you in touch with another organisation. You sit in, you're going to get 4 or 5 sessions, 45 minutes each. You got some person sat in front of you with a little clock, just keeping up, making sure we don't go over 45 minutes. Do you want a
Yeah.
glass of water or a glass of squash or something like that? And then, and again, look, I'm not beating these people down. Let's be clear on that.
No.
I'm really not, because they've got a job to do. But I think, how can a 25-year-old girl or a 30-year-old girl or even a 50-year-old lady, or fuck me, even a 50-year-old man, right? It doesn't matter what
yeah,
qualifications they've got. how can they even begin to try and understand what's going on up here if they've not lived it? And the problem with the way that it works is that the only way that people like you and to a degree, hopefully us, can help our fellow men, you know, is via things like this, because we can't. You know, what would be absolutely amazing is if we could set up a therapy service whereby people like the doctors send us people, our fellow men, and we sit down and talk to them.
Yeah.
But of course, we haven't got the right qualifications. We haven't got the, you know, you've got a criminal record, I've got a criminal record, so we probably wouldn't, you know, pass a DBS check or something like that. And it's bullshit. Do you know what I mean? And that's what annoys me. Really annoying.
Just thinking about when you said 8 years ago, and you got into a spot of bother, and then you carried on drinking for 6 months after. What?
Yeah, I mean, it was
what made you stop then?
Me, I just decided that I needed to do it. You know, I wasn't going to be told to do it by anyone, because that's just the way I am. But it was like a bit of a sort of epiphany, really, where I just imagined what my life would be like if I carried on drinking. And it didn't look very good. Didn't look very.
Did you have a moment then where you were like, just woke up one morning? I
decided to do dry January, right? But I started it on the 4th, because I just did that typical thing of making an excuse, like everyone does. I'm going to stop. I'll stop next week, but oh no, I've got so and so's birthday, and then I've got another party.
Fucking hell, sounds just like me.
Yeah, that's
true. Hell. And it's just, and all you're doing is you're just creating a load of nonsense, really. Yeah. Because if you want to do something, then that is sobriety's taught me one big lesson in life, is that I've got the power to do anything that I want to do, really. And it all starts with discipline, and discipline is really, really hard, because it's doing shit that you don't want to do. Like I was motivated to stop drinking because I was going to lose my family, and I was going to lose like my life. Do you know what I mean? But I wasn't disciplined to do it, because I was just constantly making up excuses. Well, other people are drinking, other people are all good. Oh well, I've got a party next week, and how am I going to be able to socialise and all this bullshit that you sort of try and create? They're just excuses.
Yeah. So were you with your wife at the time when?
Yeah. I mean, I've been with my wife for 22 years now, so she's been through like everything with me.
She's proper been through it.
She has, and so she's seen me through through it all. So I'm very, very much appreciate her, her support, and all my family's support and stuff, and the friends that sort of stuck by me, because I lost a lot of friends along the way, because it made them feel uncomfortable being around me, because I was sort of looking into my drinking and why I was drinking and my behaviour and stuff, and that sort of triggered them, really. That made them sort of look a little bit more inward to what they were doing. And they were like, oh. Yeah, and then you sort of almost made to feel like you feel that you're too good to be around them, which isn't true.
No.
But you do go through a little bit of a preaching stage. Your first year of sobriety, you see it online. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
And the first year of sobriety, everyone's got all this energy, and they're like, yeah, let's fucking do it. And they're climbing mountains, and they're doing marathons, and they're eating fucking green, avocados, and smearing it onto their faces for like, and that happened to me. But like after a while,
smear an avocado on your face.
Well, it just come to the top of my head, and after a while, you're like, I don't need to do all these things. I'm just sober. Like I just don't drink.
Yeah.
It's.
So what's the hardest? Is there like a hardest thing since you've given up drink? Is there something that you find, a situation or a thought or something you find particularly difficult about Like, does your wife drink? That's a double question.
Yeah. My wife still drinks. And I've got absolutely no problem with that whatsoever because she's got a healthy relationship with alcohol.
Yeah.
And she'll probably get drunk like 2-3 times a year when she's out with her friends, and she'll have like a couple glasses of prosecco if we go out for a meal, whatever. It doesn't even sort of come onto my radar. But when I'm around people that do drink a lot and for a particular reason, I know that. And they know that I know that, but it makes me feel very uncomfortable. Like going to weddings and birthday parties and stuff like that. I'm cool until about 10 o'clock, and then it's witching hour, in at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Everyone's like been drinking all day, and they're telling you the same fucking story over and over again. You're like, Jesus Christ! And then it starts coming out. Oh, I'm drinking too much, Ross. I need to. And I'm like, listen, let's talk tomorrow when you're sober. And I never get that call because
No.
it's just it's the inhibitions are out the window, aren't they? And they're like,
Yeah.
You reset,
but
don't you, in the morning? You wake up and you think, oh, I'm all right. I'm still here. I ain't got a problem.
yeah,
I'm up for work. I'm all good. I went through a stage of thinking I was absolutely fine. It was only when my colleague said to me, you do realise, actually a client said to me on a call as well, you're still pissed. That's why
yeah,
you've not got a hangover. Because you'd go in
Fucking
and they're
hell,
like, you're
dude.
slurring your words. You're
yeah,
literally pissed.
yeah.
And that takes some fucking swallowing.
Yeah, it does. It
To be
does.
Fucking hell,
fair,
mate.
Yeah.
you know,
You got to hear it.
Yeah.
You got to hear what people are saying, and like I don't judge people
no,
at all. But I'm allowed to have an opinion. And all these things that I'm talking about today about the therapist and the drinking, it's all my opinion. It's all I want to be as honest as possible.
of course.
And everyone's got opinions, haven't they?
It's real talk, dude. That's all it is.
Yeah,
It's
that's it.
it's not.
Yeah.
There's nothing aggressive about it. And it's
No,
certainly not a
no.
blanket thing. It's just there will be. I would guess, and it is a freaking guess that 95% of the people that are going to listen to this will agree. Because it's lived experience. And I think that's the difference between a professional and someone that's been lived experience, and I just think there's so much more to do. I'm intrigued about your the support sessions. I mean, I've not been to one yet, but I'd quite like to. I know exactly where it is. I don't know why I haven't been. It's an odd. I can't tell you why, because I think I'd probably really benefit from it. But it'd be great to understand, and certainly for anyone listening, like how does it work? Do you have to register? How does it all work? Can you
No.
talk?
So a Man Down meeting starts at 7 p.m. and it finishes at 9 p.m. So there's no referrals, there's no booking, there's no charge, there's no pressure to talk. I mean, our slogan's like "Let's talk about it," but that's what we want to try and encourage. We want to try and encourage men to talk because we know talking about mental health and conversations around mental health do save lives.
Yeah,
Um, So we've got two facilitators per meeting. So what the facilitators do is they just make sure that the conversation is, going in the right direction and everyone's having an opportunity to talk if they want to. We all sit around in a circle, and it's just a really informal conversation between men. So there's no real sort of conversations off limit. As long as they're all, sort of quite not positive because that's the wrong word, but
I
as
know what
long
you
as
mean. Yeah,
as long as the conversation is meaningful,
yeah,
and thought provoking, so peer to peer support. So guys that have suffered or are suffering with their mental health are there to support other men who are suffering and have suffered. So it's quite a powerful thing. It sort of seems to be quite quite a bizarre thing to actually like try and comprehend, because you know, why would you stick a load of men in a room that are suffering with their mental health? You know, surely it's going to end in fucking carnage. But it's quite the opposite. It's actually very uplifting, very powerful, and really really effective. So each guy gets around about sort of 10 minutes to have a chat, if, like I said, if they want to. But you know, I'll use this as an example. So say someone turns up at a meeting and they're, you know, they're about 25 years old, and you know, they've been suffering with their mental health, and they've just split up from a partner, and like, you know, relationship breakdowns and stuff are quite difficult for men to deal with, especially if they're struggling with their mental health, if they've got, you know, sort of confidence issues, or they're insecure, or you know, like most of us men are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, he's really finding it difficult to come to terms with it, and you know, he's plucked up the courage to come to a meeting. Doesn't really feel very confident talking about it in front of people, and then one of the other guys that's been there for a while is getting over a relationship breakdown from his wife, you know, divorce, and he starts talking about, you know, stuff, and this other guy's like, wow, you know, that sounds so similar to my story and what I'm going through. And it's sort of it's like an instant sort of, well, icebreaker, but it also instantly starts that healing process for people.
No, I get
Um,
that. I get that 100%. And you know, it's odd because that's exactly the same thing as what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I think one of the things that we all need to get our head round is that there isn't actually that many different variations of shit that men go through, right? It's I reckon if you were to get like 100 men together and say to them, list, you know, you'd be able to probably create a list of like 5 to 10 things
beforehand.
Yeah.
you know, that we were all suffering from, you know,
yeah,
and I think there's something really special and magic even about, you know, because I think we all catastrophize a little bit because we've got that whole kind of I'm not good enough. I've
yeah,
got, you know, certainly kind of our age as well. I think there was like the whole kind of like my dad was the backbone of the pillar of society. You know, he used to go out fucking hunting and you know all this kind of stuff. You know, but that's not like that anymore. You know,
no,
so it's. I think we're all kind of we've all got these. We're all trying to be someone else. We're all
yeah,
trying to be the better person. You know, be the strong person. And like you said earlier, you show that vulnerability, and you're a fucking complete failure. Like, you're
yeah,
absolute complete failure. And when we can speak with each other in that safe space, and we can recognise that actually, yeah, we don't need to be someone else. Every fucker's going through the same thing.
yeah,
You know, in some kind of permutation, or you know, there's some kind of issue. It doesn't matter what fucking mask they might be wearing. You know, they're all going through something. And if you can maybe just say something that one makes you think, I'm not on my own. You know, this dude's going through it as well. And then two, something they might have tried. You know, it's a bit like fucking cooking, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I can never make a fucking scrambled egg. Oh, have you tried maybe mixing in a little bit of, I don't know, fucking water? Yeah, like just oh fuck, no, I haven't. I'm gonna go and try that. And again, it's not gonna fucking solve all their problems, but if it can just take away like 1% of that stress, just to give us a little bit of capacity to deal with the rest of the situation, and that might be enough to bring someone down off the edge of that cliff.
yeah,
And that's phenomenal.
It's mad. I just think it's mad that we need to go to these groups. That it's mad that society's got like that. It's brilliant you're doing. I'm not knocking, obviously not knocking it, but it's mad how society's got to that point where blokes feel they just can't just talk just openly, and we have to have these sort of safe spaces. And like I said, mate, what you're doing is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, but it's like Ross said. It's also a lot of the time it is our fault because we're very self-destructive and kind of holding ourselves to this kind of this kind of level that doesn't always exist.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
don't like that. I don't like you saying that, but it's true.
It
It's
is
our
true.
fault. I don't like that.
Fault's a difficult word, but
it is.
it's an assumed. One of the massive things I found when going through therapy was, it's me. I will treat someone like how I assume they want to be treated, not how they want to be treated, and that comes from.
We talk about that
all the time.
don't
Yeah,
we?
all the fucking time. You must come across that a lot, Ross.
Yeah, I mean, it's how we're made to feel as men.
Yeah.
And it's a combination of how we're made to feel by the rest of society.
Yeah.
And how we should be feeling as men. So so it's like, if I went and spoke to someone that I just met down Tesco's, or you bumped into, all right, mate, how you doing? Yeah, I'm all good. Yeah, you? Yeah, I'm all good. Yeah, right on. Yeah, you? Yeah, you? Yeah, you?
Yeah.
Back and forth about 10 minutes.
Yeah. So true.
And if I said, actually, I'm not all right. I'm actually feeling not very well today, and I'm actually feeling quite suicidal. Not for any particular reason, just I just feel like I don't want to be here anymore. He'll go, fucking hell. All right, and that will make him feel really, really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And he won't know what to say.
No.
Majority of the time, and that will put a lot of stuff onto him, and he won't feel very nice. So, we've got to choose where and when we have these conversations, and that's why that safe space that we've created is a perfect opportunity for people to talk about that sort of thing.
Yeah, it shouldn't be like that though, should it?
No, it shouldn't. But that's just the way. That's just the way it is, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and it's the shame. So the shame is something which is created inside. So like we feel shameful, we feel like we're wrong, like everything is wrong about us. And then the stigma is something that's been created by society. So it was still illegal, it was still against the law to take your own life. So that's why it was committed suicide. So we don't obviously use that word anymore. It's like died by suicide, or they took their own life. And then you've also got things that were written into, like life insurance. If someone takes their own life, then you're not allowed any money.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to claim on that insurance. So there's all these like things that are sort of that have been built up over time, to make like suicide a really, really sort of quite a dangerous, scary word to use.
Yeah. I'd love to. I said to you recently, I'd love to normalise. Like, you're going down the pub or something, or you see your mate. You see your mate out. All right. You're fucking backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
You should be able to just go, you're all right, mate. You're like, no, do you know, I feel fucking shit today, actually. Just woke up. I feel like a bag of shit. But can I do anything, mate? It should be, like you say, it should be, I feel suicidal, actually. Do you want to talk about it? It should be a normalised conversation, because there's no reason
100% should be. But do you know what? I pray to God that, I said pray to God.
Are you religious?
I'm not, no.
You used to be when you were in the choir.
Pray to someone, myself, that it does become that one day. But it's a huge culture change, a lot more than just acknowledging. Because I think that we've got to be careful there. Like, you just go in, do you want to? Basically, your whole day's written off. You need to sit down with that fella.
No, not at all.
I think so. Yeah.
No, I don't.
What if someone's just going to say to you? You're in Tesco's and he says, "Oh, actually, no, I need to feel, I feel suicidal." Like you
don't know. But that's what I'm saying. It should be normalised, so it should be spoken about, and you have a
chat.
100%.
But you need to have a chat.
The fucking day off.
No, okay, maybe being a bit exaggerated, but it needs to be. It needs to be. Again, I wouldn't, and I've seen this before. I wouldn't want a token acceptance. Are you feeling suicidal? Oh, it could be worse. That kind of thing.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It could be. Do you know what I mean? It needs to be. If you need to sit down and offload to me, and that is going to take you 48 hours, so be it.
yeah,
And that's but that's the stage we've got to get to. We've got to get our fucking heads out of our own arses,
yeah,
and actually be there to support, our fellow people.
Ross, have you found that since you've had, or since since you set up Man Down, has it helped you?
Oh,
Because
absolutely, 100%.
obviously it's a
Yeah,
huge,
yeah.
it's a huge, huge pressure. Obviously, you're trying to run it as a business, because obviously there's a lot of how many you're up in Inverness and
Yeah. So we've got
Devon,
so I'm one of 4 directors. So we've got another 3 directors who run the organisation. And then we've got over 60 volunteers, so we've got over 60 facilitators that run the meetings for the organisation. So yeah, so it's turning into like a really big monster.
yeah, there's a lot of pressure and stress there.
There isn't.
No,
No,
okay,
there isn't. It's a really. And I've had a business since I was 21 years old, and I had a large hairdressing franchise in Falmouth for like 7.5 years. I had 18 staff. It was just an absolute nightmare. And it was stressful for me because I'm not good at managing people, because I can't manage myself. So I'm not good at having staff. I'm not good at working with people because of my ADHD and because of, for whatever other complex issues I've got, which I haven't been diagnosed for yet. But I'm sure there's a lot of other neuro diverse stuff going on. And So that was stressful. That was money coming in, money going out, wages, PAYE, staff holidays, all that bullshit, dealing with people's problems and issues all day. 95% of running a business is running people and making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, isn't it? So with this, it's just full of like meaning and purpose. And obviously we're still working alongside people who have got mental health issues and problems, so that makes it very complex, but it's all just based around like trust and support and acknowledgement of each other. So it hasn't really got to that stage yet where it is causing any like stress for me. And I'm sure it will one day, when we're all over the country, because that's where we will be by the end of 2026. So yeah, the answer to your question is not at the minute, but I'm sure it will be.
has it helped your mental health then, since
Yeah,
you've
of
been
course
doing
it
Man
does.
Down?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, it's you know what it's like, fellas. You're never going to be cured.
Yeah.
You just got to try and make your life. You've got to try and design your life around your mental health. So you've got to get rid of the things that aren't working. You've got to add things in that are. Replace the destructive habits with positive habits. Make sure that you're around people that make you feel good inside. I'm not talking like butterflies around people. I'm just talking about that make you feel comfortable. Like when you're around people that don't make you feel great in your body. Do you understand do you understand what I mean there?
100%.
It's
Yeah, I've
like,
cut quite a few people out.
we yeah, and you need to, and sometimes, you're the toxic person. I was certainly the toxic person within a few relationships, but you just got to make your life easier. I've got 2 kids, I've got a teenage boy. That's bringing all a load of different madness to my doorstep, and he's quite similar to me. And it's like sometimes like holding the mirror up, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. So you got to design your life better. You got to make sure that it's just as easy as it can be. And that's hard, isn't it?
it is
That's really
difficult.
difficult,
Yeah,
especially if you're in business and you've got you know a busy schedule. your sort of your day-to-day life, you can't sort of plan things too far in front, and it's just a little bit hectic. It's difficult, and like both you guys chefs, are you?
No,
No.
He can't cook for shit.
well, that's not true.
Fuck it. Well, unless it goes ping.
Yeah, well, I'm a very good fucking cook, I love you.
You're a very good ping.
Yeah.
You fucking
You love getting the knife into the top of the old cellophane and then
beef Wellington prick.
Nice boiled egg. Cut the
Yeah,
top of a
yeah,
boiled
yeah,
egg.
yeah, yeah.
Do you know what?
Like,
Go on.
no, go on.
No,
So what do you do then?
So
What's a fuck all?
yeah. I was just literally sitting there like.
What do you do?
You know what I said about how we all think our lives are so different, but
No.
I mean, it's almost like you and I have been on like almost parallels, like in a lot of the things that you've said. Having a bigger business, even 18 staff is exactly the same numbers that I had. All the effort and stuff that you put into the people and everything like that. And I'm going to make some guesses that, you fucking put those people before you all the time, and they're probably some of the hardest heartbreaks you had when it all went wrong, is because they just completely fucking forget everything you've done. And this may not be right for you, I'm just saying, and turn away from you. The teenage son, the friends that you. I just think there's a hell of a lot that you've kind of, the alcohol, the everything that you've been through.
Quite similar to your...
Very, very, very similar. And actually now, to answer your question, what do? I do the same thing. I'm basically involved in marketing and business consultancy, but it's just me. And I've got a friend that helps me out and works with me as well. But ultimately, I don't really have to look after him anymore. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. It's all right. And I love it. It's not as stressful. It still is stressful, but it's not as stressful. But yeah, and doing this, this is still quite new and fresh and everything like that. But it takes
some time.
It's
never stressful.
I mean, you just got to do it. You just got to do stuff. You just. The thing is, if you sit there and think of all the reasons why you shouldn't be doing stuff, and you just never do them, you do fuck all. And it's like, you said about comparing and thinking that we should be other people, like back in the conversation about 10 minutes ago. And that's a big one. Like for us men, we always compare ourselves to others, whether we do it subconsciously or consciously. And admitting that to yourself is a really difficult thing as well, because if you admit it and you're aware of it and you can stop it, but if you're not, then you just continue doing it. And it's like, whether you compare yourself to other people, or whether you compare yourself to where you were like 10 years ago, or where you thought you'd be now, and also this invisible happiness bubble, which I see. I mean, we've probably had about 3,000 men come through our groups over the years, and we see on average around about 500 men a month, and whether they're all the same members or different members, the people come in and out of the organisation, but there's a similar thing which happens for most guys, is that they have this invisible thing in their mind which they're trying to reach for, this thing that's gonna bring them happiness, that's gonna make them feel happy, and sometimes it's like cars, watches, houses, money, and it is all a load of absolute bullshit, because we get to meet so many people that are wealthy, that are millionaires, that have fucking got nothing, and they're all suffering with the same thing. So how does that work then? So it's like, and I did it. I wanted the nice clothes, I wanted the nice car, I thought that was good, and you just constantly want more and more and more, and you're never going to be happy because it's always here. You're always like trying to run toward, like the carrot in the stick, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I just think you've just got to be happy with where you are now, and if you can do things which are going to make you feel happier, then do them. Like what you're doing with this podcast and stuff. You just gotta, if you waited for all the fucking top studio and the equipment and you just got to do it, ain't you?
Yeah, what do you mean? We've got the best equipment here. What are you talking about?
Look at us.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah. Slowly slouching down like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
We're actually in a train
but you
waiting.
know what I
We're in a
mean.
train station waiting room. That's where we are.
but you know what I mean. I'd pull up to my house all the time and go, I wish I had like a bigger. I wish we could do the kitchen, and I wish it. Like, shut up! Like, no one gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, all you're doing is you're just torturing yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't be any more fucking spot on.
It's hilarious.
Oh my God,
it is.
But you don't. As a society, you believe you need to have, like, when I've said it before on the podcast. When you're growing up and you go to school, fuck knows what school's all about. If I'm honest, I'm quite opinionated on that. Learning about fucking Shakespeare and shit. Well, I don't know how to speak that. But that's another conversation. But you get told, you need to go to university. You've got to do this. You've got to get a wife or your partner or kids. You've got to get a house. You've got to have a mortgage. You've got to have a house, because then security.
Yeah.
It's like, what a load of fucking bollocks. And you've got to have the nice car, and you've got to have this.
Yeah.
And we're getting the bathroom done in, I don't know, a month. It's like nearly 20 years old. And I'm looking at it thinking, fuck, do we need this? Can we not drag it out for another 20 years?
Yeah.
Do we really need a new bathroom? No, we fucking don't. Is it going to make any difference in my life? No, it ain't going to make any fucking difference at all. There's another fucking different toilet to pee in. And
that's exactly it. And then you think to yourself, what can I do? Because I don't know how much a bathroom costs these days. I'm guessing it's probably about 15 grand. I don't know, something stupid like that.
No, I'm not.
Mate, he's a
tight
as
fuck.
This is probably a fucking cardboard one from fucking fucking Lidl or somewhere like that. He's got it from there. It's all mix match, all returns. That's what it'll be.
Yeah,
it's just all shit. It'll look worse after it's done.
Well, that's all right. I'm a bit like that. I'll always try and get the best deal I can.
Well, you think you've got it. Another question on the Man Down. Curious, have you had mates that you've that you maybe didn't know that were struggling that have ended up coming to your groups? Maybe they've contacted you before. Maybe they've just turned up and
I've got lots of friends that struggle, and I've had a few that have come to the meetings over the years, which is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
But when you've got a friend that you've known for quite a while, you can still have that conversation, because it's you should encourage that amongst each other. But for them to tell you, what's really going on, will make them feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because it'll call into question, won't it, a lot of your history together.
Yeah,
well,
exactly. Yeah, you've got like an emotional attachment to them, and it's like, and they're probably better off talking to complete strangers.
Yeah.
Within our groups.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about just going up and talking to someone in the street.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, come here. I've got something to tell you. You could do that if you wanted to, but I wouldn't. And so it's sort of like we've created that environment where it's like it's good to talk, because I've got to be careful what I say here, but you can talk to the wrong person. You can open up to the wrong person and they'll just completely dismiss it, and you'll end up feeling like a bit more of a fucking burden than you did before.
Yeah.
So, but that's fine, because, people don't know how to take those conversations. If you've not done your mental health first aid training, if you've not done your suicide prevention training, if you've not done, other courses which allow you to sort of hold those conversations, then it is difficult. You're like, oh, fucking hell, what am I saying? But all we try and do is keep them safe for now. We're not like, the professionals are sort of here. You've got your professionals that deal with like some really, really complex issues like schizophrenia, and like really depressed people that are in like a really lot of darkness, that need professional support, that need medication and perhaps sectioning and stuff like that. and then you've got your friends and your family. Like, we're sort of like in the middle. You know, we're sort of like meeting that middleman where we're like not professionals, but people that have got enough experience to be able to listen to you and to signpost you, or 90% of the time, Man Down is enough. You know, it's enough for you to go, God, fucking hell, I'm so glad I've like got all that off my chest. I feel better now. You know, not like cured, but I feel better.
Feel lighter.
You know, I feel better about myself.
Yeah, even unless I'm feeling really good. No, most days I just feel crappy at some point. It depends on.
Yeah.
Like, my dad suffered with depression for about 15, 20 years. Just his down days are just a lot shitter than sort of the average down day. Like, I've got a bit of a hangover today, so I'll probably have periods where I just feel a bit like,
it's fucking awful today.
Yeah, I just need to eat lots of pasties.
Like you said, you're still buzzing in a minute. It'll hit you about 2 o'clock, and you'll be like, oh God.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
Do you know what though? Just a thing to take away from that though. Like, I think we need to try and I don't. This isn't a fucking moment, but I think we need to try and look at that word cured, because I think that's the danger. Like, I don't know if this feels like a whole new kind of branch to go down, but when someone says cured to me, it makes me think like that cured is like the top of the triangle, right? That's what we should be like. We should be like that. Yeah, everyone else down here, you know, the masses are all going towards that. And if you've got, you know, if you go through therapy, it's because you're different, or you're hurting, or you're wrong, or you need to be moved. You need to be cured so that you're the same as everyone else, you know, or you're acting in an acceptable way, and that's why I think that actually it's more. And I'm not talking about some of the things that you said, like, you know, like the schizophrenia and some things that clearly, you know, require like intervention, right?
Exactly.
You know, I'm not
psychosis and stuff like that. Yeah,
absolutely. I am talking, you know, and I don't know enough about that either. What I'm only talking about like day to day depression, anxiety struggles, the kind of you know the alcohol, drug abuse, you know, all that kind of. What I would say is probably a hell of a lot more prolific with men. Hell a lot prolific with men, and trying to get out of our head that we need to be cured. You know, it's not that we need to be cured. We need to be understood, accepted, appreciated, and actually be allowed to talk about things between ourselves without being judged and fucking persecuted.
And it's managing it. Yeah. Like, so you can't, like...
Managing,
I think...
That's the key word.
But that'll become easier when it stops being a fucking problem.
No, totally. I think, because I'll never be cured.
No.
I don't want to be cured, because I think, even if there was, if someone said, like I don't get seriously dark days anymore. Well, very, very, very rare. If I could take that away from myself. But I think my sort of... where I am a little bit like that, I think I quite enjoy that sometimes, because when I look back at it, as long as it's not really dark, actually that's what makes me me. Yeah. Like, makes me a little bit off the wall and a little bit weird. I see, like, you're quite comical sometimes, Ross. There you are, and and I'm a little bit like that. I'm a little bit off the wall, but I think I wouldn't want to be cured of that. But I think everyone has these. Yeah, everyone has these problems that they just need to understand how to manage it. And like you say, if we weren't persecuted, but
persecuted.
Okay.
It's your identity, isn't it? That's who you are. That's your identity.
But if you
don't want that stripped away.
No, but if everyone can learn how to manage it, it's just part of life. The stress and like anxiety is part of life. Like you said brilliantly about learning how to meditate or I've just bought a new guitar now after all these years. So actually I can, rather than working all the fucking time, that's how I can relax and I can make myself feel a little bit less shit about life sometimes. Like I said, a fucking car, you know, people buy all this crap. Buy a new guitar to cheer myself up. No, but trying to fill your life with stuff.
That means something to you.
You know,
and that's what it is. It's not. it's not trying to force people into doing yoga. It's not trying to force people into doing breath work. It's not trying to force people into doing exercise. It's doing something that you want to do that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
And that can be yoga, breath work, ice baths, whatever it can be. It just needs to be something that works for you.
Yeah.
And doing nothing is the worst thing you can possibly do.
Yeah.
You know, for someone that suffers with their mental health, doing nothing is just not going to work out for you. And you've got to have a level of acceptance and accountability. You've got to hold yourself accountable.
Got to hold yourself accountable. That's very true.
And I do that a lot because, you know, when I because like you said, you know, cured, you're not cured. I'm not cured. And I still feel terrible sometimes, and still feel like I don't want to be here anymore. But I don't listen to that. Like, they're just unhelpful thoughts that I'm having,
Intrusive.
and it's when people try and stop those thoughts, that's when they start becoming in a world of pain, because you're never going to stop them. They're always going to be there. It's whether you choose to listen to them or not. Like, I'm not gonna listen to them because it's just unhelpful. You know, I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing. That works for me, and then I'll start feeling a little bit better, you know, in a day or a couple of days, because nothing significant's happened. You know, there's nothing that's happened that makes me all of a sudden start feeling like that. It's just fucking like that.
Yeah, just feel
And
shit
that's
all of a
it.
sudden. Yeah, and that's weird.
And
But what is that voice?
It's just some
Who
horrible
is that?
fucking right here somewhere.
It's
No,
weird,
it
isn't
sort
it,
of
though?
starts here. It starts here, and then it goes in here.
Yeah.
And then yeah, when it stays here, and then starts to sort of control you.
Yeah.
That's you know, that's when you've got the problem. But you know, mine's different for you know, for a lot of people, but for a lot of people it is similar. You know, you sat there going, yeah, I get that. And mine's more anxiety based, because my head never switches off. So, like, part of my ADHD is my head is just constantly on the go, 24 hours a day. Wow, wow, wow. Boring. You know, it's fucking boring.
I wonder whether I have ADHD. I do honestly wonder whether I just, because I cannot.
Worth having an assessment.
I mean, cannot fucking switch off ever.
No. Can you can you watch TV?
Yeah.
without playing on your phone?
No, I'm not great
trying to
at
do
it.
4 things at once. There's a lot of things that are included into the world of ADHD, but you know, that's one of them. You know, and it's like I go on holiday and I can't relax. I can't sit there and shit. I've got to be doing something, but I'm okay with that. You know, but it's just the way, you know. It's just the way I am, and it's the way you are. And it's like you've got to, you know, you've got to accept it, and you've got to know that I need to exercise. That's non-negotiable. I need to eat well, because I can't have processed food. I can't eat shit food because it makes me feel shit.
Yeah,
I don't want to feel shit, so I eat well. I spend time with my family. I spend time with my friends that I want to be around. I go out and do a lot of walking. I've got a dog. You know, she's like my therapist. So I do, you know, all these simple things that don't really cost a lot of money to do. I do, and they just make me feel better.
Yeah.
And that's it, you know.
I've got one more question, then we better wrap it up. Just one more question about Man Down. About you said about the facilitators.
It's not about my moustache.
Looks fucking
It's
dreadful.
handsome.
You say you have 2 facilitators per sort of meeting. Is that something that? So do you have to have a certain sort of qualification to be able to do that? Can people apply? Can people sort of, if people want? I'm just thinking, if people wanted to help out, how does that work?
Yeah. So what you can do is you can contact us via our website, Man Down.
Come on, Ross.
mandown-uk.co.uk. Man Down CIC on Instagram, and then obviously Man Down CIC on Facebook as well. But you can contact us via social media, via email, and you can just get in touch and start up a conversation. We are looking for volunteers all over the country to help us open as many meetings as possible as we can. We're aiming for 200 meetings before the end of 2026. So we've got a lot of work to do. And if you're someone that's over 25 years old, if you've got lived experience with your mental health, if you're in a good place emotionally at the minute, if you're willing to give up 2 hours of your time every week, and that can be what on any day that's going to work best for us and for you, and you want to support others, then then get in touch. That's how we're looking for our facilitators. And then once you're on board, then mental health first aid training, suicide prevention training.
Right.
But we're not asking you to try and fix people. We just we need you to hold the space for us, and it just it sort of does its own thing, really. It sort of works its magic. But having a good facilitator is the key. It's the sort of
Does it have to be male as well? Just thought.
You have to be male, yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because it's a men's mental health
Yeah.
support group. So we've got women that work for us, and they do all the important stuff. All the stuff that we're just really, really not great at doing.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, 75% of our messages that we get are from females, mums, sisters, wives, aunties, girlfriends, work colleagues, all worried about the men in their life because, they don't really know how to sort of, how to talk, how to get in contact, what to say, or,
That's beautiful though to hear that. I'm glad to hear that though.
Yeah, it is. And like, and that's we're just, so appreciative of the support that we get from the women, because they just don't want, the worst thing that could ever possibly happen is that individual takes their own life, and they don't want to experience that, because suicide is it's a very, very destructive thing, and it destroys families, communities, lives, directly, indirectly. It's a fucking awful thing to experience. And yeah, we're just trying to stop that from happening, basically. That is our main aim of Man Down, is to reduce male suicide across the country. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's beautiful, really do.
Yeah. Right, go on. Hit him with the.
Oh yeah, I've got. Sorry, we've really got to go, haven't we? I know.
Yeah. That's good. Well, I'm
super quick question.
Yeah.
What is your definition of love?
What's my definition of love?
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, wait there. Zila, come here.
Oh, amazing.
Come here. Stay there. That's love.
Oh.
That's unconditional love right there. That is.
Oh.
Love that. Love it. Yeah, just a question we always ask.
I'll show you a picture of my kids, but I'll show you a picture of my dog.
No, and do you know
about
what?
the wife? Jesus, don't let her watch us.
Look, Ross, it's been an absolute fucking pleasure, man.
Thank
Thank
you
so much.
Cool.
Really appreciate it, and keep doing what you're doing. I mean, we're big fans, and my head's spinning a bit about some stuff that we might be able to do together, but we'll obviously talk about that off air. But yeah, absolutely, really appreciate you giving us some time today, and let's save some fucking lives, eh?
Yeah, cool. Nice one.
Thanks for being so open, mate.
Cheers, dude.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.